Well, a very good morning. Welcome to another Fishing Towel Films, and I'm on my way down to the river to see if I can find myself a couple of nice swims, or a swim to start off with, because I'm going to see if I can locate some nice perch that I'm convinced, I know I've had lots of small ones up to the pound mark, but I'm convinced that there's some big perch about in this section of the river that I fish. Bit out of breath here. We've had quite a bit of rain the past few days, and looking at the sky and the forecast, there's going to be some more today. You can see there, plenty of black clouds up there. Let's have a quick look at this swim. This is the swim that I ended up fishing on the last time I've been down here. That was on my birthday. That was my birthday treat video that I did, and as you can see, there's a lot more rain water has got in, and it's swirling around a little bit. But where I'm thinking of going is a swim that you've seen me fish before. I've had some chub out of it, I've had bream out of it, but it's on a bend and there's lots of overhanging trees, quite a bit of margin cover. It's about halfway down the section, and I think I'm going to head down there and give that a go, using a special float today, and I'll tell you a bit more about that when I get down to the swim. I'll see you down there. Well, before I start fishing, I want to talk about the special float that I'm using for my session today to try and attempt to perch. Now, it's a Perch Bobber, and there it is, and you will see that it's a little bit different, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But it's been handmade by one of the viewers, one of the subscribers to the channel, Martin Burnell, who very kindly sent a couple of perch bobbers down and a selection of other floats that he's made from all sorts of materials, from, you know, pens, where he's taken the obviously the biro out and adjusted them and coloured them in, and all sorts, and wagglers using sort of some old quills and stuff like that. And on this Perch Bobber, he's made this out of, I think that's probably like a champagne or a wine bottle, the main body of it. He's sort of hand painted it in, he's varnished it as well, and the stem of the float is like the pot rivet, so it will give it that loaded feel. So I need to put it on. I'll put sleeves on the float so that I can obviously attach it to the line, and put a yellow one on because I think it might hopefully show up better on camera. Martin sent me down a red one and a yellow one, and I'm hoping that it's going to bring me some luck. You never know, do you? So thank you, Martin, thank you very much for sending them down. It's very kind of you, and I'm going to have some fun, and you never know, this might turn into one of my favourite floats. It's possible. What made me laugh was something that Martin said. You may recall a few videos back, I was out fishing with Andy Cowdrey of Black Bottom Floats, and Andy makes some wonderful floats, and while we were chatting on film, Andy referred his floats to being not the best, but they really are excellent floats. But this is Andy's words, and he said they're more like the Ford Escorts as a regard to, you know, a Maserati, which did make me laugh. And Martin saw that video, and when he sent the floats down to me, he messaged me and he says, if Andy considers his floats to be like Ford Escort level, then he said my floats must be like Reliant Robins. Their words, not mine, and did make me laugh, I must admit. But anyway, this Reliant Robin, Martin, could turn out to be a favourite float of mine. Let's attach it to the line and let's get fishing. And thanks again. Well, I'm all set up, ready to make my first cast. Got quite a nice bit of depth down there. It's always been a fairly deepish swim, and from the hook keeper, which is about there where I'm pointing to on my finger, I've counted 6 rod eyes up to the tip of the float, and I'm just off bottom. I don't want to touch the bottom because as the swim moves further to the right, it starts to shallow up, and I don't want to start sort of dragging. So I reckon I'm about 3 or 4 inches over depth, and I'm going to plonk the float, the lobworm. All I've brought with me today is big lobworms and large dendrobenas and some very old maggot, which probably not going to be much use to me today. But so I'm not going to feed an awful lot. I'm just going to hopefully let the fish find my bait, and I'm hoping there's been a few fish being chased about, whether it's pike, because there is pike in here as well, like there is in most rivers, but we shall see. I'm excited. I don't really know what to expect, and that's part of the fun of fishing. Nice to see that there's a bit of flow about. It's quite an undertow as well, and even over there it looks like there's a slack, but it's moving along, so there's like the undertow's taking it. Just put on a sort of dendrobena worm. Quite a few. Give the lobworm about 10 minutes and no touches at all, so I've just scaled down to a dendrobena. I've not fed anything at all, so what's in there is just what's on my hook. Been the odd fish have sort of plimped the surface. I'm just working the sort of middle of the river at the moment, and then I'm going to then start concentrating right down in front of me, because it's quite deep there as well. In fact, if memory serves me, this bank is actually undercut. Well, I've just pulled out of a fish. It wasn't a perch, it was a chublet, probably about that sort of size. It sort of went off down to the end part, and it just sort of slid away. And as it come up, it pulled straight out of it. So, I mean, started off on a size 6 hook to start off with. Normally a little bit bigger than what I normally do. I might have to scale down a bit, but because I was going to start off on a great big lobworm. Oh, I had another bite then. Oh, I just had 2 bites on the row. I've got a small dendrobina on it, and I've tipped it with a red maggot just to sort of see if there's any other fish down there. And I've had 2 bites, so that's encouraging. Both in the same area. Well, Martin, it's not the perch, but it's a chublet. My first fish on one of your floats. You see, it's got all the dendrobina worm and a little maggot in there. Well, from catching those monster gudgeon recently down at Windwhistle to the complete opposite of probably one of the smallest gudgeon I've caught for many a time. Beautiful fish though, all the same. Now, I brought the GoPro right down by the water's edge in the hope that you can see the float. I just can't get my zoom camera into these sort of swims. It's almost impossible. Banks are sloping and it's just waiting for a disaster to sort of kick it into the water, which would be not ideal at all. But hopefully you can see the float. See some of the bites that I'm getting. Just got a piece of dendrobina on. Picking up a few small fish. Well, it's been one of those disappointing mornings down by the river. Good to see a nice bit of flow, a bit of colour, much needed, and I'm sure the rivers can only improve for that as the sort of late autumn and winter progresses. We're early November now. it's not happened for me today apart from catching a few small fish on the homemade bobber made by Martin. It's been a pleasure to give it a spin out. I think the conditions of the river and the way the flow is, it's not really helped fishing with the bobber today, so I think I'll save fishing with the bobber again, or Martin's bobber, on the lake when I go perch fishing next, probably in 2 or 3 weeks time I reckon. But it's been fun. At least I've caught on it, I've not blanked on it, and I'll give it another spin out another time. But anyway, thanks for watching. I know there's not been a lot of action in this video, but which is why it's probably a short one. But these things happen. You can't catch big fish, big perch, big eels all the time. But like I say, the next trip could be the one. See you again soon, and thanks for watching. So thank you, Martin, thank you very much for sending them down. It's very kind of you, and I'm going to have some fun, and you never know, this might turn into one of my favourite floats. It's possible.